Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to the Backlight channel. Today is a new day for the demo, and today we're welcoming Mihai for this new demo. Okay, hello Mihai, how are you?
Hi guys, fine.
Okay,
How are you guys?
I guess everyone is fine. So we're going to demo our new starter kit, Origami. I'll give you the mic, Mihai. Thanks.
Thank you, Mads. Here we go. So I'm Mihai. I've been working on this awesome product, which is Backlight, and a bunch of starter kits for the last few months. And today I'm going to present you Origami, which is a starter kit um, uh, for a design system based on React Native and React Native Paper. So to quickly recap, React Native is a framework based on React, which is great for mobile and web development. If you want to write your code once and have it running on both iOS and Android, React Native is the way to go. And on top of it, we based our starter kit for the design system on React Native Paper, which is a toolkit based on Material UI, component library um, with design tokens embedded, so color, fonts, everything and lots of components, 25 plus components or something like that. As a reminder, what is Backlight? Backlight is our design system editor. Code side, you're free to build your own tokens, components that use them. And for each component, you can have stories, storybook mode, tests, docs, everything in one place. It's your central hub to interact with your designer teammates, build things together, release your own versions of your design systems. Now let's see how to use paper with origami in Backlight. So as I've said, the features of this are that it has lots of components, is cross-platform, it's native. This is very important for mobiles, and it also works on web. So write code once, use it everywhere. And we have interactive documentation here, light and dark modes. We have the design tokens, which I'm going to walk you through in a bit, and lots of demos waiting. So let's go. Um, First section of this design system starter kit is the tokens library. It starts with colors. So in Backlight, you have a source folder where you define your color tokens. These definitions are based on the React Native paper structure. If you want, we can take a look in there for a bit. So they have great theming, and these are the specs for the colors, for example, and for the whole theme, all the tokens together. And using that, you can define your own version for each type of color, primary, accent, background, and so on. You have a demo of them right here in the dock side of Backlight. This demo is shown using a dockkit component, which we have in the dockkit section at the end here. So I'll show you the code for that just quickly. Here are some components for showcasing. The one we talked about is the colors showcase, and it just iterates through the theme and renders the color. We'll come back to this maybe a bit later when the whole theme is put together and it makes more sense. So back to colors, it's rendered right here, and we also have a dark mode and light mode. You can see that not just the text and the background switch, but also the color tokens are shown for dark and light versions as they are defined. We can change one just to see how it works. So just change a color, save it, and voila, it's changed. Now the primary color is black, what we defined. Okay, let's switch it back. Switched back. So once again, when you go to dark mode, you can see the dark versions of the colors shown. Something similar goes for typography. So again, these definitions are in line with the React Native paper specs. We have three group of fonts for web, for iOS, and default ones. You can also define for Android if you want to. And in here we have the demos for each one, so you can see the samples. This again in the documentation is shown using some DocKit showcasing tools, which we'll get into later on. And that's about it for fonts. So you can, for React Native paper, you can define for each type of device your font families, your font weights for different versions, so regular, medium, light, thin, and other tokens, less complex, let's say, are roundness and animation. Roundness defines the general roundness of elements like buttons and such. We'll see this in action more when we dive into the components part. Animation, the same. This one's defined through scale value that gets combined into the theme. And this actually is a scale for all animations of all components, like floating menus, modal dialogues, wave effects, progress bars. This is demoed here by a button which has an effect on it when you press it, and the progress bar that fills. And for example, we can change this scale to something else, just save, and docs is updated, and you can see that it's slower now. So modifying your theme, your tokens on the fly is available and very valuable, I think. Switched back. Okay. The final section of the tokens part is the theme, which it's actually combining all the other configs that we have. So you can see the font, the colors, light and dark, the roundness, and the animations are just combined into the object theme according to the React Native paper specs again. So there's the mode, light or dark there, the roundness, the colors, the fonts, and the animation, which we have all customized and showcased inside Backlight to be able to kickstart your design system. The theme is also rendered as a story, but it's just a pretty rendering of the theme object. And this is used, this theme that is the result of the create theme function is used in our layouts. I'll show you a bit. So we have the MDX layout, which is actually used throughout all the documentations we have in here. And it uses the theme provider from React Native and the create theme that we have just seen before. And the theme is passed to the theme provider, which wraps the whole layout of all the documents. And by this trick, it's not actually a trick. By this mean, um, inside the documentations, you're able to render all the theme and also switch from dark mode to light mode, because yeah, the scheme is um, which is light or dark, is retrieved behind the scenes from the using a media query from the user preference in the beginning, but then as the user toggles it, it is stored in the local storage locally, so it will persist in this instance. That's it for the tokens part. Next, we'll go into the components. So in the components section, we have represented all the components that are exposed by React Native paper. Let me show you those right here in React Native papers site. So just a quick walkthrough, and then back in Backlight, where it is possible to document and demo them interactively. So, for example, the activity indicator, which we just re-export from React Native paper. It is then showcased in stories. We have stories, storybook mode, which expose all the variants of the activity indicator. So it can be small, large, animated, not animated, so on and so forth. And you can see these variants rendered right here. There's also the doc side of things, which exposes a description of each component and a code sample and a very nice playground in there as well. So you can change your components live and experiment with them. Let me show you. For the last activity indicator, we can change its size to whatever we want. If the syntax is invalid, you will quickly be shown this via an error block. Let's make this last activity indicator big, so once you fix your syntax, it already renders correctly. And you can experiment with all the components in this way. Besides, you can see that these components that are rendered also respect the theme that we've set. So if we change the primary color, let's see, in dark mode, we can change it to, I don't know, something else. Let's say completely white. That should be the primary color here. And then when we go back to the activity indicator, we can see that inside the live demos, the color changes and of course other theme changes already take effect. Let's switch the color back now so that the other components will be pretty as well. Next, there's the app bar component, which again, we're just re-exporting from React Native paper, but this is just a starter kit for the design system, and in your own design system, you can do something more than that. You can enhance your component a bit and then re-export it. We have the stories for the app bar. This component is used, it was designed for mobile, but it adapts well to web as well. So as I said before, write once, use everywhere. In the documentation side, again, we follow the same structure, some code samples and the live demo. As you can see in the documentation, we're going with dark mode, and even though it's the same component, it has already adapted to our dark mode color theme. This is live as well. So the playground is present for all the components. You can experiment with it. Let's, for the sake of the demo, remove an icon from the app bar, add it back. It updates on the fly. The button component, this has some variations. We have default, outlined, and contain mode. Again, you can experiment with it in the playground. Different variants are shown throughout the documentation so that the design system can be really rich for all the stakeholders that use it. Other components are a badge. We have a banner. I'll just go through them quicker, and we'll stop for the most interesting ones. Here's an interactive demo of the banner component. It goes away when you click a button inside it. You can show it again. Of course, in mobile screen size, in your layout, you might position this somewhere on top, but for the sake of the demo and to be able to grasp it, it's shown in line here. Inside our playground, you can also use React State to be able to show and hide components. So actually to modify the state, not just JSX syntax, but function components as well go in here. That syntax is accepted as well. The bottom navigation is more interesting. This is more popular in mobile apps. Again, this one uses React State. to show the active tab, for example, as you can see in our playground here. The widely used card, which is pretty rich out of the box as offered by React Native Paper. In our playground, you can, for example, customize it, remove the title, or maybe you don't want a cover for it, so on and so forth. More basic components are also available, like the checkbox. Inside the stories, we also show it, and it's interactive as well. The chip component, the data table. This one is very valuable as well. It comes out of the box with controls for pagination and such. So all these components can be customized out of the box from the Backlight Studio. The dialog, which is maybe more interesting. So a dialog is shown and hidden with background overlay. This one's also shown using our playground. Drawer, which is a menu type of control. Floating action button, we also have it here. So all the components from React Native Paper are re-exposed here. Let's just visit the interesting ones. The progress bar. We also have the modal here, which is similar to dialog. We have a search bar that is customizable. It supports icons inside it or watermark, so on. And one component, it's actually a group of components that is important for every design system that we'll want to explore is the typography. So React Native Paper exposes out of the box text, title, subheading, paragraph, headline, and caption. Of course, you can build more than one, more than these if your design system requires it. They're all demoed here, and this also mine the theme that we've defined earlier using our tokens. So this kind of concludes the components part. We can make an experiment and try to customize one. So to showcase that not just re-exporting the components and making them respect the theme that you have defined is possible, but also customizing it. So let's say import the button from React Native Paper as React Native Paper button. And then we can export our own button. that what actually does is customize the React Native paper button somehow. You'd, instead of a div here, you'd maybe want to use a view, which is typical to React Native, and it's acceptable and translated natively if you want to develop to use React Native paper and this design system to kickstart your mobile app. So the view component is present in React Native paper. We're gonna import it from there. In React Native, actually, sorry. And we can use that to re-expose our button, for example, with some customizations. Okay, let's see what's wrong here. Yes, we want to rename this as TSX because we're using the markup syntax inside. And we also want to import to add React into scope so that it's all right. So we have React in scope and we have customized our button a bit. We haven't really done much customization, but we've shown that it's possible. And once we've done that, our documents and stories update on the fly and render our personal version of the button. So to sum up, React Native Paper provides 25 plus components out of the box, which are all exposed in our starter kit, and you also can customize or add new ones inside Backlight Studio. So we're going to skip to the doc kit section, which I said in the beginning that we're going to come back to. Now that it makes more sense how the theme is defined and that it's actually a JSON which respects the specifications of React Native paper. The components for showcasing might make more sense. What we're actually doing here is passing the theme, the color scheme as a prop, and we're getting the theme in here with the use theme hook provided by React Native paper. We're using the use theme hook inside the theme color showcase, and we're passing the color scheme here, which what actually does, it loops through the entries inside our color object and just renders a view and a caption. The view has the background color, and so this is the output. and similar stuff is done in the docket section for font showcasing, animation showcasing as well. We're using React Native component for animation showcasing, which is the touchable ripple, has a ripple effect when you press it, and also the progress bar as well, re-exposed from our own component library, which just changes its progress according to the animation scale defined in the theme. So this is the starter origami design system starter kit that we provide in Backlight. You can use it to kickstart your own design system for your next mobile and web cross-platform app. And if Mads, do you have you collected any questions that you want to relay to me?
Hey Mihai, thank you so much for the demo. It was really nice. As far as I can see, we don't have any question right now, but I invite everyone that will have any question in the future when you try the starter kit in Backlight to ask us for any support. Mihai is on the Discord too, so not hesitate to ping him and ping us to have any help if you need.
Sure,
So
I'll be glad to answer some questions.
cool. Thank you again for your time and for this demo. Thank you everyone for being with us today, and see you soon for another session and another demo. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.